So it's interesting. I actually had an idea to create a business that would do what LegalMatch does before I knew that LegalMatch existed. And once I started researching it a little bit, I found out, oh, hey, there's already a business that does this. It's LegalMatch. And so I signed up and started using it, I think in 2015. And I have continued to renew my subscription since then and grow into new practice areas and grow into new geography because it is really effective. It is a great way for clients to be able to connect with an attorney and attorneys to be able to learn something about a client before they speak to them, so that when they do speak to them, they can be a little bit more intelligent in the conversation that they have with a client, instead of having to Google and pick from a list of attorneys that have marketed themselves to show up at the top of the Google listing and not know whether or not you're actually going and sitting down with an attorney that knows what they're talking about. Client can post something online and expect to get phone calls from attorneys who are going to talk to them about their case. Typically, I think some attorneys probably bill for those conversations. I don't. If you want to call and talk to me about your case, I'm not charging you anything to talk. But it's kind of nice to be able to just provide your cell phone or your email and have hopefully several, at least one, get in contact with you wherever you are, in your home, on your computer, and talk to you about your legal situation without you having to go through the process of setting up an appointment with their secretary, and maybe they can see you in 2 weeks for 30 minutes, and maybe you have to pay them $100 to go sit down with them. I think it's a really awesome system. And it has grown my practice quite a bit. It's connected me with a lot of people that I probably otherwise wouldn't. I mean, it's obvious. Nobody can come to my office. I mean, for several months, we weren't in our office. And several months, myself and my staff were working from home. And court has turned into Zoom. And I mean, we're getting back. We're getting back to meeting people in person and going to court in person. But that ability to have an attorney, not even just you call an attorney, have an attorney call you on your cell phone or send you an email and talk to you about your case without having to go into an attorney's office. I mean, LegalMatch as a business plan was set up to thrive during COVID because it is the right model for people who don't want to go into an attorney's office. So I have continued without a blip through LegalMatch to practice a lot of law and help a lot of clients. I like that the client has the opportunity to write out their situation before they come to my office. Lots of people don't put very much information, and that's fine. I'm certainly happy to call and talk to you from where you are and learn about your situation as we're talking. But just in everything else, in every part of life, the better prepared you are before you talk to somebody about them, the better the conversation is going to be. And so LegalMatch provides an opportunity for people to write out everything that's going on in their case. And I know that there is just an open block for people to write, but LegalMatch also provides input structures. What is your income? What do you have available to pay an attorney? Who's going to help you pay an attorney? If it's a criminal case, where have you been charged? What have you been charged? What are your previous charges? If it's a domestic relations case, are you the father? Are you the mother? Who has custody? Are you paying child support? So how much? Where are you? That's all massively important information that allows me to do a little basic research before I speak to a client and be able to give them much better information when I do. Honestly, I think, and when I was saying earlier that I was thinking about coming up with a business plan that turned out to already exist and it was LegalMatch, the idea was to create a lending tree for lawyers. Lending tree, the whole slogan is make banks work for you. I think that's what LegalMatch does. I think you put your stuff out there as a client, and then you have these attorneys who are scrambling because they want you to hire them to figure out your situation, and they contact you. And so LegalMatch essentially puts lawyers to work for you, and it's a great structure. I get new leads on LegalMatch every single day, and I try to call them back immediately if I can. Sometimes I'm not able to do that for obvious reasons, but I am checking LegalMatch regularly, and there are always just a stack of leads of people to call. about 11%. As of the last time that I did the numbers, it was 11%. And honestly, it's been a couple of years since I have done a real review, an in-depth review like that. And my practice has changed a lot. I probably need to update that because it's probably more now. The areas of law that I'm practicing in now lend themselves, I think, a little bit more to people who are actually going to hire an attorney. For instance, in a very rural setting like the one I was in Northeast Arkansas, doing a lot of criminal work, clients have the opportunity to go with a defender, which is free. And it is a leap for someone who is low income to trust somebody that's called them up on the phone and get to the point where they're saying, well, I've got a free attorney here that I don't particularly want, but then I've got this guy calling me and I'm actually going to have to part with a significant amount of money for me if I'm going to get that guy. So I've moved since I last ran the numbers. I've increased the areas that I practice in since I last ran the numbers. I think 11% is a pretty good base rate. I would be willing to bet that it's closer to, I think it's probably more like 25 to 30% now. I think that, and I'm talking a lot, I apologize, but I think that also has a lot to do with kind of learning how to use LegalMatch. And I have been doing it for 6 years, and so I have gotten better at it. And I think that's a big part of it. I don't know. I don't use other lead generators. I used Martindale Nolo for a short period a couple of years ago. And I think essentially it paid for itself. Again, I was doing criminal leads, and I have not used any other lead-based service to do contract or civil litigation, even domestic relations. So I don't know how they stack up. I do use FindLaw, and I get lots and lots of calls through FindLaw. FindLaw and LegalMatch are really my two main ones. I think that you call everyone who posts and try to talk to them even for a short period of time, even if they don't have a case, even if they tell you they're not able to hire an attorney. It is direct access to people who are looking for an attorney. And you might find out when you talk to this person that they aren't able to hire you or aren't interested in hiring you for what they posted about, but they will remember you and they will tell other people about you. And they will tell other people about LegalMatch, and people will post on LegalMatch and they'll find it. And so number one piece of advice is call everyone. If you're doing it in family and criminal and willing to take on areas of law that you might not be comfortable with yet, for instance, employment law, people are posting about employment law all the time. I don't do much employment law, but I have it as part of my setup. And I have taken employment law cases and learned a lot about employment law through taking those cases. I would say absolutely do it, give it a try. It's worth it. In 2015, over in Northeast Arkansas, the first year that I did it, income from LegalMatch accounted for a third of my income. And I think if you use it the way that you're supposed to, if you actually call people, don't wait for clients to call you. That's not how you use it, them, and be willing to have a real conversation. I think that it's massively beneficial to any young attorney's practice. Well, I think I've offered it. I think you do it. I think you give it a try and use it. I mean, it's just like anything else. You can sign up for it and get the leads, but then if you don't use it, it's not going to work. And if you walk away from it thinking to yourself, well, LegalMatch doesn't work, that's not real. You've got to use it. You've got to answer the leads and make the calls. That's the advice.